Talk, 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 talk. Pow, pow, pow. What's up, YouTube? This is Vinicius Mateus speaking, and today I'm bringing you another video here on the VMGAMEDROID channel, guys. Well, guys, in this video, I'm bringing you the latest version of Inlayton, version 10 final, okay? Bringing you this update here. And today, we're going to check out everything that's new as well. Let's test it here on our phone, okay, guys? And I'll be testing it here on the Samsung A35 with a Mali GPU, alright? So we're going to test some games here and check out what's changed. The update now includes phones with Mali GPUs and many of them are running it. The A35 shown here is a phone with an Exynos processor and it has the Mali GPU, and today I'm going to show you some game tests here, alright? So right now, if it's your first time here on the channel, go ahead and subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any more videos, and leave a like because it really helps us get our content out there, alright guys? This video could be for 1 million subscribers, right? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We're in this together. Let's reach 1 million soon. I installed some games on the A35. You can see here, look, I installed Deadpool, Grand Theft Auto 4, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, alright? This simple phone costs around 1,400 to 1,500 reais. I ran Deadpool and Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 on it, but couldn't get Grand Theft Auto 4 working. So lighter games like Deadpool and also Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 I'll be able to run, and you'll be able to run them too on a phone that's about the same level as the A35, alright guys? Let's open Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 to check it out. If you don't know how, there's already a video on the channel teaching the process. How to play Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 both on Winlator and on Game Fusion, alright guys? Let's begin our Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 here. It's pretty cool with the virtual gamepad. Let me increase the brightness so you can see it better. Hey everyone, we successfully launched Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 on our Winlator, running at about 60 frames per second. Check it out. A very simple phone, a pretty weak phone. One problem that happens here on the A35 is that the audio ends up getting buggy, alright guys? So the game audio ends up getting a bit buggy. It's not 100% stable either because it's using the Vortex driver, right guys? This universal driver designed for Mali GPUs offers greater support for these GPUs. However, it won't be compatible with all Mali GPUs, but it's worth giving it a try. My friends with the Mali GPU have tested Grand Theft Auto 4. They managed to play it there even if just at the beginning a bit unstable, but they managed to start Grand Theft Auto 4 on the Mali GPU through Winlator, alright guys? And here, I managed to run Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, check it out. Let's get into a match here. I'll put it in exhibition mode. Let's select Barcelona here. Real Madrid versus Barcelona in Pro Evolution Soccer 2013. For now, in the menu, you can see, look, no bugs so far, running at 57 frames per second. Let's press here to start and see if we can start a match here on our A35 Mali GPU, guys. Check it out. I did a little test here and I even managed to make it playable. It's on the stability preset, okay? I tested it on compatibility. In performance mode, Pro Evolution Soccer didn't open. It only opened in compatibility mode and stability mode, okay guys? You can see here, look, 13 frames per second, 15 frames per second, it stays in that range, okay? There's not much of a miracle you can do here. On phones with Mali GPUs, emulation is also pretty tough, and this is already a big step forward, guys. Being able to run Grand Theft Auto 4 Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 on several phones. So that's the situation here, okay? Let's start Pro Evolution Soccer here. Look, the intro scene there, see? It's kind of laggy as you can see, 11 frames per second. The audio is pretty buggy too, right? For now, I still think that if you have a phone with a Mali GPU, it's better to play on PlayStation 3 emulators, right? I think it's more advantageous for now, but this progress with Winlator here has become really interesting, guys. Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, check this out. It's running there, hitting 40 frames per second, running much better than in the tests here, but still, than what I had done before. It's running much better than the previous tests I did here, man. It's hitting 30 there, look. And I left with the ball and everything. Yeah, one thing I noticed too, look here, at least on this phone, the analog stick bugs out of nowhere, man. It ends up being so heavy. And this phone here, it has at most 6 gigabytes of RAM, right? And it's not even a real 6 gigabytes of RAM. It's those 4 gigabytes of RAM where you can add 6 gigabytes of extra RAM, right? Virtual RAM memory, basically, right? So it's not really a full 6 gigabytes of RAM, man. But look, you can see it's running PS 2013 here at 30 FPS. There are some little lags during gameplay. But look, let's see how it is when there's a goal, man. I'm probably going to concede a goal here. Look, I took it out, he shot it out. Look, it lags. It's kind of like it renders little by little. So the frames per second keeps changing, see? You can see here 20 frames per second, 18, then it goes up to 30. There are some bugs and a graphic on the screen, but it's already an improvement. On many phones, when I made the Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 video, they couldn't run it. Maybe now with this final version 10 final, you guys will be able to start Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 on many phones, alright guys? That method still works, unfortunately. It used to work better for phones with Snapdragon, right? But if you want to try it, you can do it on more phones with this new version, alright? This is Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 running here on the A35, alright guys? This is the A35 running with 6 gigabytes of RAM maxed out. Let's open the task manager to see how much it's using. RAM usage is nearly 5 gigabytes, battery and temperature are shown. Central processing unit usage is high, reaching 83% to 91%. It's utilizing a significant portion of our processor, alright guys? From our GPU and also from our RAM, which is pretty low, alright? Alright guys, Deadpool has started here. Let's activate the virtual gamepad controls. I'm going to play with you guys using the on-screen controls, okay? Look, let's start Deadpool here. Deadpool, man, it runs at about the same level as Pro Evolution Soccer, but it seems to have slightly worse rendering than Pro Evolution Soccer, man. The colors aren't as vibrant as they're supposed to be in the game. The colors look kind of faded, but I think all of this is just because it's still very early, right? This GPU Mali driver support is still in its early stages, so I think that's also the reason. It can cause some errors, some graphical bugs in certain games. Unfortunately, not all games will work. You'll have to test and see which games work and which ones don't on your device. It's likely not working on all Mali GPUs. We're starting our Deadpool test here. On this smaller device, it's already hitting 14-15 frames per second. So it's around that average, guys. It's around this average here. I set everything to the minimum. Look, you can see here, look, everything is at the minimum in the Deadpool game, guys. You can even see some jagged edges on the screen. I turned off shadows, set everything to the lowest of the low, okay? 14 frames per second, that's in the menu, man. It started, man. It started hitting there. Look, and it varies a lot. Look, frames per second drops a lot, man. It really drops a lot. Look, 16 frames per second. Suddenly it goes to 14. Suddenly it goes to 8, then to 3. And I mentioned the analog stick bug too. Look, the analog stick ends up bugging. But here, look, you can see that the color isn't the real color of the game, right? It's not the game's natural color. And I also felt that the joystick here, the buttons, they don't work very well, man. It doesn't have that nice sensitivity. Look, turning the camera here is a struggle, but it doesn't go above that average there, man. 23 frames per second at most is what we can get here in the game, and it's going to be hard to get past here, man. Let's see, with this analog stick all bugged, can I do it? I haven't tested the gamepad on the A35 yet, okay, to see how it's running. The joystick might be better, as it's really bad here, at least on the A35. I'm not sure if that's universal though, man. But it actually becomes playable here at your 27 frames per second. It varies a bit, right? But I believe you can play both Deadpool and Pro Evolution Soccer here. And that's another step forward for phones with Mali GPUs when it comes to PC emulation, alright guys? We can expect a lot of new things in future updates. So let's wait and see. I recommend that if you have a phone similar to the A35 or even better than the A35 and want to test other games, it's really worth it. Alright guys, let's go into the settings here. Default box 64 here as default. Compatibility mode, yeah, here in the container. I use this configuration here, Vortec Universal. Alright, Vortec Universal, no problem. DXVK is default here. I didn't change DXVK either. It's version 1.10.3. Audio driver is advanced Linux sound architecture. I noticed some audio drops, a lot of audio breaking in most games. Box Press 64 allows you to change modes including stability, compatibility and intermediate mode, which worked well here. The performance mode didn't work in most games, and basically that's my setup here on the A35. Alright guys, that's my setup for our dear Winlator 10 final version on the A35. Alright guys. I hope you liked it. I'm not going to test it today on the Red Magic, right? Today, our focus is more on the Mali GPU, right? Tested here on our A35, the new version of Winlator for you. If you want me to test more games on the Red Magic, leave it here in the comments and I'll try to bring it to you, alright? And if you enjoyed it, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and don't miss any more videos, alright? I'll stop here. God bless you all. See you next time, and I'm out.